Hi everyone, welcome to Raising Vibrations with myself, Simon, and today I'm going to be bringing through to you guys the second house, or Taurus, Pluto in the house of Taurus, or the second house, for instance, and continuing with my series that I've been recently creating and speaking a little bit about the symbolic representation and meaning within our astrology charts, okay? So for anybody, firstly, that is just watching for this for the first time, I highly recommend or suggest that you go over and check the introduction video first, as I cover some very sort of broad perspectives and natures associated with the symbolic meaning and representation, and how it obviously works within the astrology chart as well, and just giving us a bit of information about where to go to get your astrology chart, okay? So that's exactly what I suggest before you go ahead and listen to this. Other than that, it's obviously still your choice, for instance. Okay, guys. So today's teaching, like I said, is about Taurus and Pluto and in the relationship that they have to each other. Okay, so this is kind of an interesting dynamic, because when Pluto finds itself in the second house, we're looking at souls that have incarnated into this existence with prior life dynamics associated and strongly associated with survival, okay, extreme amounts of survival. And so what you'll actually find in your life over here is that there will be an attraction towards life situations that will constantly demand where you need to look at your resources, in other words, your finances. You'd need to constantly be in situations where you're having to learn about what money means and what values are associated with. You'll probably be directly sort of drawn towards having to look after things. But primarily it's about survival and living in the body, for instance. And the reason why that's the case on most terms is because when Pluto is found in the second house or Taurus, for instance, we're looking at the archetype of survival. Because essentially we are needing to understand what our survival process is and how we define our survival. And that through that extension will allow us to understand what it is that we value, because it will be empowerment through those value systems that will then define who we are, and then through that explain our belief systems. So the purpose of Pluto in the second house from the point of view of somebody is that they'll be naturally orientated towards situations and environments and places in which the totality of survival will be taking place. Now, one of the things that will be attached to this mechanism is that it's part of the fixed quadrant. And so the type of things that can happen with Pluto in the second house, from the point of view of EA at least, is that you're looking at the representation of your values and how much self-worth you have. And of course, a lot of the time you're sort of like tested, okay, extremely on your attachments and your emotional recognitions and empowerment through feeling valuable, how much value you can have. So you'll be somebody that will be definitely drawn towards like money, for instance, or self-worth, or feeling needing to be secure within that experience. Your belief systems can be a very strong part of your life, because the belief systems is intrinsically attached to the second house, or to Taurus. Okay, so with Pluto in the second house and its separating desires, there will be a natural a relationship pattern towards how you are going to survive. Again, like I've said, and I've repeated this a couple of times. So if you just look at your own life, for instance, there'll be a myriad of things where you would have gone through situations where survival was like the bottom line. It was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this is, you probably would have had experiences where something would have been taken away from you, or that you've had some loss, for instance, in your life, or you've had to orientate towards around money and the security associated with it, etc., etc. So when Pluto is associating itself with the second house as well, you're definitely going to be somebody that's going to feel very strong within your body. You're going to be definitely somebody that is going to feel like being strong and stable and secure is an important requirement associated with yourself. And you might be extremely sort of well understood and versed and empowered through how resources work, how to make money, how to establish money, how to get money. But you can then lead yourself into this non-growth pattern where it's called frog in the well syndrome. And basically what happens is that because you're so content and so comfortable in understanding everything around you and how to fulfill and allow your own needs to be essentially fulfilled, you don't need anybody else. You don't need any support. You don't need anything around you to give you what you need, because you inherently are able to do it yourself. You create what is called the frog in the well syndrome, right? And it's simply like this. Imagine a frog sitting at the bottom of a well perched like that, and extremely stable, okay? And it feels completely and utterly like secure within its grounding. And when it looks up like that, the view from above is just simply the circle, okay, of the sky. It only sees a portion of the sky. And the psychological relationship to looking at that portion in the sky is that the limitation that is experienced when completely and utterly feeling like there is no need to move from your security environment, from your secure environment. Because why? Because I already have everything I need. I can secure anything that it is that I need. So why move from the space? I feel comfortable and I'm secure. So Pluto in the second house will relate to souls in which they'll experience being completely and utterly stubborn in some way because they feel that their portion of their sky is available. But we know that the totality of creation is actually existing outside the perspective of that well. And so what will happen is that your non-growth will come from feeling like you don't need to explore other aspects of your life. Okay? Now, the evolutionary necessity intent with Pluto is that it will force evolution through its polarity, which is Scorpio. Okay? And this can be a very tough thing. And this is why the relationship of survival is associated with this experience. It's because Scorpio comes along and does this experience of the rug being pulled from under your feet. And so you slip, you fall, you get this instant removal of whatever it is that's around you that is secure. And then all of a sudden you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm insecure. I don't know what's going on. I'm not feeling stable at this point in time. You start to panic and you realize that the perspective that you had was just a very small perspective and that there was a larger perspective that needed to be included within your consciousness in order for evolution to occur. So lots of things that will just instantly be taken away from you or just removed from you to force you to have to spring from this secure place. So this is kind of like an interesting thing related to the symbolism with Pluto in the second house of Pluto and Taurus, is that you will encounter situations and experiences that will be taken away from you so that you can be forced into the evolutionary necessity of understanding that there is more to the world than just that meets the eye, and that you constantly need to keep on expanding your boundaries by constantly embracing something that is completely new and the vulnerabilities that are associated with you. You understand what I mean by this? Okay, because it's through that expansion that you understand the more resources available to you. But your consciousness needs to be rooted in the idea that you will survive, that it's okay to feel vulnerable, it is okay to feel insecure, because you can always secure things around you because you have that inherently in you. That is your empowerment journey. Do you understand? So Pluto in the second house will relate to those concepts. And obviously the returning desire in this particular instance, the self-awareness, the spiritual aspect, is to embrace the opposite side, to embrace the polarity, to embrace other people's resources, to share your resources and to not keep your resources to yourself, because you will create a psychological dynamic in you where nobody would want to be your friend because you're stingy, because you don't choose to share your stuff. Because you inherently feel that if you share your stuff, that means your resources deplete, therefore feeling that you don't have any resources, no security, and then all of a sudden you go, oh, I don't have anything. Which is not the case, because the more you share, the more you allow people into your life, the more you can actually understand that the totality of creation works, where the ultimate resources are always around you, that it is nothing that can be taken away from you. You understand what I mean? Okay. Cool, guys. I really hope that was insightful in some way and it sort of brought some perspective into that. If that has interested you in a reading with myself, come over to my website right now, simonvorster.com, and book a reading with me. I have all my information on on my page. I do all my readings over Skype, and we talk about the totality of the dynamics associated with your soul and how it actualizes its life and how we can unlock sort of karmic patterns associated with your astrology chart. All right, guys, and obviously realign your soul. So for now, thanks very much for watching. I truly appreciate all the support. Thank you to all my subscribers. And of course, if you enjoyed this content and loved what I did, please hit the like and subscribe button and share the stuff, guys. Yeah. So thanks very much. Have a fantastic day. Take care. Bye-bye.